What's going on, guys? Anger Collections in the house for another video. All right, so today we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back in time. We're gonna talk about sealed magic investing again. Oh my god! Every time I talk about sealed magic investing, so there has been a chatter on Reddit, our favorite one, right? Reddit about like sealed magic investing, right? I even saw a post that says like, "You are the problem. You are the problem. We are all the problem." Yeah. So sealed magic investing, very exciting. There's Final Fantasy, shenanigans, $1,000, $1,200 boxes, right? So there has been creeping up on the sealed magic closet investing, right? But today I'm going to show you guys all the collector boxes. No master sets, no modern horizon, just straight up, magic sets, right? Just all collector boxes from the beginning. Throne of Eldraine, right? So we're going to check on the prices, right? And I'm saying this because, like I said, there has been a chatter on like this big boom, a lot of money coming in Magic with people from Pokemon and other people like seeing the potential for these collector boxes that the supply is getting, it's not as like before, so that now, all these sets that have serialized cards, all the ones that has like fancy arts, like great reprints, things like that. And I'm not even talking about Universes and Beyond, just straight up magic sets. Okay, so we're gonna go back, right? And these are, I don't know when I check these prices, maybe like 10% plus minus, because I just wanna go back and see how much are the collector boxes from the beginning of collector boxes, right? So, ready? Throne of Eldraine, the OG, the very first one. How many years? I don't know. $269 for one collector box. $269. That's almost like a regular pre-order of like a magic set these days, right? $269 current pricing. So like I said, plus or minus 10-15%. Next, Pharaohs Beyond Death. $234. Ew. Ugh. $234. Damn. Pretty low. Ikoria, Lair of Behemoth. One of my favorite all-time sets, man. Godzilla's, all those fancy arts. And this is, I think, the beginning of how they do a Godzilla art, but it's like a reprint of a card, right? So, Ikoria, collector box right now, $360. Yeah. And I remember there's a box topper, right? Yeah, there's a box topper. Okay. Zendikar Rising. Ooh, Fetch Lands reprint, and there's a box topper too. Guess how much is the collector box right now? Ooh, $269. Wow, golly. Oh, this is even more surprising. Kaldheim. Yeah, Thor, right? 207. Jesus Christ, what happened to this set? Wow. Next one. This is a good one. Strixhaven, School of Mages, right? The whole Harry Potter knockoff, right? $344. And you guys remember, just like Ikoria, it has those reprints, it has those etched, those like Japanese art, $344 for the collector. Seeing a pattern? Adventure in the Forgotten Realms, man. Woo! $222. Ouch. Ooh, the next two sets. Wow, that's crazy. Innistrad Midnight Hunt 149. Wow. And then Innistrad Crimson Vow 157. Like I said, current pricing for this 10%, 15% plus or minus. Last time I checked, but wow, that is insane. Below $200 for a collector box. And, I don't think there's like anything really like you can remember out of that set, right? Wow. Ooh, Kamigawa. The first introduction of neon inks. Remember that? $1,000 for the red one. 288. Yeah, close to 300, but still, it's below 300. Kamigawa. And these are the sets. Years, man. Years in the market already. Years. Next one. Oh my God. That's the worst. Streets of New Capenna. $190 for the collector. Wow. I think this one is this is funny. Dominaria United. This is like the the time when it's like crazy pumping, right? They're pumping all these sets. They're pumping all these like boxes, right? But Dominaria United, shockingly, 224. I think it's because of the they inserted like the legends, but even then, what are you gonna get? Like what? It's like a tabernacle or bust, right? But 224. I think there's like what is the top card in Dominaria United? I think it's like Shieldred, right? And I think that's about it. Oh, this is interesting. The Brothers War. First serialized set. You know how much? $299. It could be $300 now, but wow. Serialized cards. A lot of good artifacts, reprints too. So, yeah, it's kind of like mid. It's like in the middle, 300. Phyrexia all will be one. Now we're getting to something now. $434. A lot of those, oil slickety foil, right? Interesting. And they got those Phyrexia bundle. Yeah, 434, man. We're getting up there. March of the Machine, 338. Now, a lot of great reprints on this, and a lot of like crazy. They went back on this cool variant. From like Kaladesh Inventions, yeah. I mean, I think overall, I think March of the Machine was a decent set. It's not like surprisingly like a lot of loaded great cards, but I think 338 is kind of average. And then after that, the most controversial, right? Aftermath, right? 116. That's crazy. I don't even know if there's like anything besides Nissa on that set. I think there's probably like Obnixilis is like going up, but I can't remember now. But that's funny. Now, Wild Zivil Drain. Now this one's crazy. Wild Zivil Drain. You guys know, the glittery foily Ristic Study. $624. Motherfucking $624, bro. $624. And I remember this because, after Aftermath, it's like, a lot of people just want to open the set, and they saw like these cool reprints, Ristic Study, Smothering Tide, and they have like glitter foils, anime showcase and things like that. So they just went and bought a lot of stuff, opened a lot, and I think that's probably what happened. It's like less supply in the market. But other than that, that's really it. There's like bitter blossoms. Next one, uh, we're like we're getting into the investable investable. People are trying to see, oh my god, this era, this time is different, right? This time. Oh my god, Lost Caverns of Ixalan, Cavern of Souls, the whole neon. Yeah, $497. So we're seeing a pattern now with all of this shit, man. With all these collector boxes, market is really picking, and sometimes it depends on whether the set is like after a bad set or after a good set. So you're kind of seeing a pattern on these. This one's funny though. Murders at Karlov Manor. It has serialized cards, but it's nothing really like jumping out of like, oh my god, I want to open a Murders of Karlov, right? 191. Shockingly. I don't know. Pretty interesting on that one, right? And then the next one, Outlaws of Thunder Junction. 248. It's below 300. Interesting for the era of investable closet investment, right? 248 for the collector box. I can't remember. Maybe it's like this is like kind of like an Aether Drift, Aether Drift, like the whole Cowboys thing, Cowboy Bebop. Probably not a whole lot of people have interest in the Cowboy Bebop theme magic. So yeah, 248. Bloomboro. Oof. Man, I love Bloomboro, bro. I should have bought a lot of commander decks. I think the commander decks alone, if you buy a lot of them in the beginning, I think you're gonna do good. It's nothing really like even sealed. Just sell singles, really. But Bloomboro, man, $475. $475, man. $475. That's crazy. But yeah, it's a good set. A lot of good cards. And there's some reprints too. But overall, I think the theme, those cute monsters. Yeah, Pokemon, Labubu. Next one, Duskmorn. Now, House of Horror, 305. Kind of average. There's some cool cards right there, but overall, as far as the set after a good set, right? 305 for the collectors. So there's still a lot of supply. And then after that, Foundations, right? A lot of people missed out. Everyone missed out on Foundations. Nobody was talking about Foundations after Las Vegas, when they showed a lot of these great arts, a lot of those glittery, foily Land War Elves. Yeah, collector boxes flying off the shelves. Everyone missed out. Everyone trying to like find a freaking collector box, right? And then a lot of people opened, and then now, yeah, $400 for a freaking collector box of Foundations. It's crazy. And you guys know Aether Drift, kind of like it went hyped. I talked about this. It went hype, because no one's talking about it, after Foundations, and everyone's excited with this like pissed foil, gold foil, right? It went jump to like 300, and then it just like dropped. It dropped like crazy. And now it's like 194, man, below 200. So Aether Drift, and it has a serialized card, only one, but yeah. Tarkir Dragonstorm, again after a bad set, right? Tarkir Dragonstorm, $319. A lot of great reprints, a lot of good, cool art. Dragons, very, very. A lot of, people love play dragons, so kind of like slivers and like elves or like goblins. So Dragonstorm, yeah, $319. Kind of average. But I think overall, it's still a good set. So those are everything. Like I said, no Universal and Beyond. Those are kind of like an anomaly. It really depends on the how popular is the IP. But as far as all the sets, man, all the collector boxes, prices, um, you can kind of see a pattern from set where the supply pump era, and then the era that's like investable. Everyone's like, oh, they changed how they pump the supply, man. They changed how they print the product. So you can kind of see how a set after a good set and then a set after a bad set, it kind of contributes how well it will perform in the market. So yeah, I mean, think about it. Final Fantasy, right? Again, it's not a regular set, but it's a Universe and Beyond. So it's kind of different how to explain how the Universe and Beyond collector box works, different to a regular set. So on average, I think you can kind of see, like with the pre-order thing, if you see anything below 300, you can kind of like, okay, if you want to do the closet investing, right? Because people are talking about, oh, now Magic, it's investable now. It's becoming like Pokemon, and you could be right, but you could be wrong also. Because like it's. I said this with multiple videos now, that the market is changing. The market for these collector boxes feel like they're trying to kind of imitate how Pokemon sealed market is. They're kind of catering more on the collector side of Magic. Same thing with Pokemon. People are trying to chase, the Pikachu, the Charizard, and then same with Magic for the collector box. Sorry. They're trying to chase the serialized cards, all these glittery foil, So they're kind of catering to that aspect. But as far as supply goes, with Pokemon, man, they can print like a bazillion. It's so many collectors in Pokemon compared to Magic. So I don't know. They're trying to like balance it, but now Pokemon, they're seeing similar market with collector boxes with Magic, to where the boxes and the card prices is like, man, they saw it in Final Fantasy, and they only see it because of the value of the cards, and also I guess it's the Universes and Beyond. The IP is very popular, but everyone's hunting with the neon inks, everyone hunting with the serialized chocobo. So I think more money is coming in with after the Final Fantasy. Just blame Final Fantasy, because Final Fantasy kind of ignited all this chatter with this like sealed investment now, and it's possible. It could be. It's changing how the people in the market like thinks how all these collector boxes works, right? So, and not financial advice, not financial advice. I'm just like a nobody, but all I'm saying is like, after Final Fantasy, the floor for these collector boxes is changing. Now, if you look at like the next couple sets, right? Man, I mean, Edge of Eternity, it's kind of like went up to the moon now, and it's like what, $400? So above 300, right? Spider-Man, I mean, it's Universes and Beyond, but it's like freaking $700 for a collector. But looking for the next new sets, right? Seeing how the past few sets perform, these new sets, it's like an automatic, like, people are talking about like, oh, now it's all of a sudden is investable because it's almost like a guarantee that these boxes will go up, right? So that could be right, because now a lot of people are going in You know, people are kind of excited that every time they buy a box and try to hold it, it's almost a guaranteed. But I think it's not going to be in every set. I think it's gonna be still selective. You know, the market will still like dictate how these collector boxes perform, right? Just by looking at the past sets, especially the bottom ones, because the market is like saying that how bad sets, you know, opening or sets after bad sets, and then sets after a good set. So I mean it shows right here. Look at it. I mean, and foundation $400, Aether Drift $194, and then Tarkir, $319. So depending on like what's in the set, the reprints, cool shenanigans, like Edge of Eternity, right? Ancient Tomb, But I think it would still depend. But I can't say that it's not investable, like even though like the data is there. All I'm saying is the market will still dictate whichever like how well these collector boxes will perform. Now, it could be like it's happening like Pokemon now, like to where pretty much all sealed Pokemon is like going up, and it could be we could be in the bubble. Like we could definitely see a freaking crash. I mean, it happened already, so I mean it's going to happen. It's just a matter of like when. So just be careful. Just be careful on like all these shenanigans, closet investing. Like Timmy's out there, man. But for me, I'm not a big fan of. You guys know I'm not a big fan of sealed investing. I do mainly singles. As far as like with everything, the whole investment alone. The word investment. I don't invest anymore, man. I don't hold cards. I keep some just because like it's just a matter of like moving and all that stuff. But overall, I don't really hold cards when I buy it. It's just a matter of time for me to like list it to my TCG player. Also, I'm getting there. The store is still closed. Angry Collections, TCG player, and eBay still closed, but it's getting there. We just got our stuff, so I'm just trying to like set up my room. So yeah, eventually, yeah, gonna be selling cards again. It feels like an eternity, but yeah, man. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I want to talk about today. I know, like I said, sealed investment. Magic is kind of like a chatter now. Like people hate it because like, oh, we're like the bad. We're like ruining the game, and then people are like getting excited, asking like, oh, is it like a guaranteed now? If you just like buy and hold it, trying to get pre-orders and just hold it. So there's like a chatter now. And like I said, there's no right and wrong. For me, if you like to buy and then hold it, for a collection or for whatever investment, it's up to you, man. It's your money, So before you hit that buy, just make sure you have a reason why you're buying it. So yeah, that's gonna be it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing, hit that bell notification so you don't miss any video. And with that, anger out, boys. Peace.